Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is the build-up show. Liverpool, Aston Villa, another day, another must-win game, another chance and a big old revenge mission as well. Chris Page actually with me, Joe Mason, James Sutton as well. Chris, yeah, this is where we're at now. Even more importance placed on this game because, you know, the European Cup will be what it will be. We need to make sure that we win football matches in the Premier League. Right?
It was always going to be an important game regardless of the result against Real Madrid, wasn't it? And the fact that we can add in the revenge mission because it's Aston Villa and the manner in which they dismantled us earlier on in the season and stuff. So huge game for Liverpool Football Club, and one that I think if we are to beat Real Madrid, we need to win against Aston Villa.
I completely agree with that. It is absolutely massive. It is at Anfield as well. Can Liverpool get over their home jitters that we've had?
Maybe score in the first half.
Yeah, score in the first half, win at Anfield, all things that would be really nice to see. We're going to be chatting to the lads in a minute, talking about the revenge mission, talking a bit about Jack Grealish and about how we actually line up for this one as well. But before we do go and check out the Hold the L show this week over on the Super 6 YouTube channel. I was over there making the case for Mohamed Salah as one of the greatest Premier League forwards of all time. What I need you to do is check this clip out first and foremost, then go over there and give me some support.
When I'm looking at Mo Salah, for example, and I watched how he came back into the Premier League, when Liverpool signed him, my initial thought was waste of money. He's been in the Premier League. He's too weak. He isn't going to do anything. But Liverpool's success over a couple of years, 2-3 year period, was mostly down to what Mo Salah was doing, along with Mane and a few others. But Mo Salah was just on a different level in terms of his goal scoring. He, when you needed somebody to stand up and grab games by the scruff of the neck and win you trophies, league titles, Mo Salah was the man. Didier Drogba, I can't knock him because as an Arsenal fan, I know what he can actually do. He used to absolutely give me nightmares. I hated him when he played against us, but doesn't mean he's better than Thierry Henry. But Harry Kane, man, I'm trying to not make this sound like it's an Arsenal Tottenham. No, because it's not an Arsenal Tottenham thing. It's about players that are able to win their club's trophies. Like Alan Shearer was at Blackburn and he won them the Premier League. His goals won them the Premier League. Harry Kane's goals have not won Spurs anything.
Yep, really good fun, actually. Really good fun. Mainly, I just love going on that show just to slaughter Flav. It's basically, but for me, who holds the L, it's between Nini and Flav. But I need you to go over there, drop a like, leave a comment, and then if you go on their community tab as well, vote for anyone but me. That would be genuinely lovely. Yeah, good show, really good fun. Do go and check them out and get involved. Yes, right, sound. Dad. Let's just hope. We mentioned the revenge mission type thing. Look, we had a revenge mission on Tuesday, which went spectacularly wrong. It is actually kind of telling. Klopp actually made a little reference to the fact that there's a little bit to play for because of how they beat us this season, this game. The Liverpool players need to go out there and show some pride, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm kind of just correct you. You said get over our jitters. I think getting beat 6 home games on the run is more than jitters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every time I go into a game where we want revenge, it never really kicks off that way. I mean, proper revenge would us be beating them 7-0, wouldn't it? I'm not really sure we're going to get that. In fact, I'm not really sure what the hell we're going to get, to be honest. I just don't know. I mean,
3 deflected goals, maybe? Is that revenge?
Well, they're going to come into it with Grealish back, aren't they? So they're going to be in a good place. We're coming off the back of another defeat to a team which sits and plays long balls. And I don't know whether Villa have got that game in them. They don't seem to play like that at all. Will they adjust? I don't know. But yeah, it'll be lovely to smash them. And I think, given the frailties at the back, the only hope is going to be beating them by a lot of goals. But maybe it's 4-3, 5-6, 7. Wow. Who knows?
Yeah. It's one of them, isn't it? James, if we're to have top 4 ambitions, the same arguments we were making about the Champions League. If you want to, Liverpool have got a chance to salvage this season. They have. It's there. You know, we were absolutely buzzing like 24 hours ago. You know, everything was within our sphere of influence. The Reds back on top, not quite what we were, but certainly capable of achieving something from this season. You know, getting a top 4 place, maybe getting to a Champions League semi-final. There has been a disappointment. They're going to have to pick themselves up, but this is the point now. We need to win games at Anfield. There's no more excuses. You know, the idea that, you know, it's all, you know, we can't get spin back this narrative that Kabak and Phillips aren't good enough anymore, because it doesn't matter. We've got a settled centre-back pairing. They have their limitations, but we've got brilliant players available to us now. We're not beset with loads and loads and loads of injuries. There's 4 lads who can reasonably come in and play in the front 3 positions and all do a really good job. There's a ton of midfield options available for us. So, you know, we just need to go out there and actually pass the ball to other lads in red shirts and see what happens.
Aston Villa are not Real Madrid. I mean, let's be fair. You know, and also, you know, Villa haven't got a huge amount left to play for in the Premier League. What are they, 9th, I think, or something now? Yeah, they might, you know, if they win their game in hand, they might finish above us. But I mean, you know, they're already looking about the summer. There's things coming out in the press about a couple of their lads. Bonglahor came out today and spoke about John McGinn and said, you know, he needs to be looking at his future. There's consistent talk about Grealish to City, Grealish to this club. You know, so there's people who are already looking. You know, their players and their agents are already looking to the future. We treat this like we treated the Arsenal game. You know, we dominate possession, we close them down early, we get really, really tight, we don't give them any space, and we just strangle the game. Whether that ends in us dominating possession and winning, you know, by 1-0 scrappy goal, or whether, as John said, we score a shit ton of goals and win comfortably. I fully expect that to happen. It's a very, very different test. Like you said, you know, we've got a lot of our lads fit now. Nat Phillips and Ozan Kabak are more than capable of keeping a clean sheet against Aston Villa and against Jack Grealish, provided that they have the support from Fabinho, from Wijnaldum, from, you know, a player like James Milner. I think is perfect to put into this game. I think to provide that cover and to provide that leadership now that we haven't got Jordan Henderson. This is going to come back to bite me on the arse, but I'm really not worried about this game. Really, I'm quite excited about it. I think it's a really good fixture to have on the back of the Real Madrid result.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I think for me, I think probably it's quite similar to James. I think we can get at Aston Villa. I think there's enough there that we know that we can get at them. I don't think they're the side that they were earlier on in the season either. Obviously, we know what their threats are going to be, and we know how they're going to play and stuff like that. So Liverpool absolutely, for me, can get into this game and win this game of football and set ourselves up for the next leg against Real. Yeah,
I mean, it's another one like the Arsenal thing's interesting because that's the level these teams are at. And we said this very bullishly after beating Arsenal. That's why we have to be careful of this, because James is right. This is all stuff that comes back to haunt you. But the point is that if Liverpool, it's another game where if we're 7th in the Premier League. If we are a team that's going to finish 7th in the Premier League, then we'll find a way to not win this game. If we're a team that wants to finish in the top 4, we'll find a way to win it. And that's kind of where it's at. You know, we need to say Aston Villa have been really good this season, and they absolutely tore us apart. And they've had some, stellar, outstanding performances. But they're starting to find roughly where they are in the Premier League pecking order at the moment. And that's Liverpool it's still in flux for Liverpool. Liverpool have the ability to finish somewhere. You know, if everything goes our way, we could finish 3rd. If everything continues to go how it's gone in the back half of the season, then we'll probably finish 7th. And that's kind of where it's at. We need to put Aston Villa well in the rearview mirror here, and if we don't, they're going to be right back down to breathing on our necks. They'll be catching up on us. There'll be games in hand, and they'll well end up above us.
We also need to put Real Madrid in our rearview mirror for this one. Yeah. I think that's massively important, and not focus on the Champions League game, which is hard. I mean, every time I've spoken on this show, I've mentioned Real Madrid, but it's difficult, isn't it? Because you take it back to the weekend before Real Madrid, you know, Arsenal, and all the results that went for us that weekend, all bar one, pretty much, didn't they? And gave us that opportunity opportunities, that sniff of top four that makes you think we can go and do it. 3 o'clock Saturday game, is it? There's an opportunity there for us to put a marker down once again and to make the other teams around us feel the pressure of Liverpool breathing down the neck.
Yeah, no, exactly that. There's about establishing levels, isn't it, Dad? And right now we are on a level with Aston Villa. If we're good, because of the form, our form has made it. The league table doesn't lie. There's too many games played for you to be in to genuinely be in a false position. It only ever really happens if you've got tons of games in hand. We're 7th because we deserve to be 7th. But if we can get back, if we can pick ourselves up and go again, all of a sudden you've won 3 Premier League games back to back, and you earn the right to look at the Premier League table and see where you stand.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment we can play, apart from Jordan Henderson, we can play our best midfield. Mm-hmm. We can play our best forward line, ably supported by Jota. And we've got the 2 fullbacks and the best goalie in the world playing as well. So we are capable of beating Villa. The big mystery is what's gone on at Anfield, and is it still there?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, there's no reason whatsoever why we shouldn't not batter Villa, but certainly beat them, because we've got better players all over the pitch. Yeah. But we're going into all these games now, not knowing, are we?
That's it. I mean, look, the Villa thing, they're not in great form. Obviously, they beat Fulham. They go a goal behind at Fulham, don't they, at the weekend, and then pull it back and end up winning quite convincingly. But that's 1 in 5. They've picked up wins from. We've been talking about Liverpool's diabolical form. They've been in worse form than Liverpool, which tells you how bad they've been. This is the thing. They are beatable, and you're right. The Anfield thing can't carry on forever. This is the thing. I think Liverpool being a bit of a wounded animal. All my understanding of Liverpool is we've just lost an important game and they've been a bit crap, so there's going to be a real fire lit in them to go and put that right. We're at home, and and again we've got something to play for in the league, and as you were saying rightly, Chris, there's another game that you want to make sure you're up and running for as well, looming on the horizon. The problem is as my dad says, none of my pre-existing understanding of how Liverpool perform in these situations seems to be relevant anymore. It's like it's honestly like there's a bug in the code, and we haven't quite figured out. It's just something inexplicable that happens, that someone's dropped. It's mad. It's genuinely mad. So yeah, we don't have an expectation, but we should be hopeful about this one. Liverpool should be more than capable of doing something in this football match. I don't care how we do it at this point, though, James. We keep talking about smashing Villa. I hope we do, but I actually think I don't want the players to have that mentality unless if it is, it's got to be the right mentality. I don't want to see individual players trying to go out for individual revenge. I don't want to see Mohamed Salah trying to score 5 goals. I want to see us doing that the way Man City do brutality, where it's you get into dangerous positions and you're squaring it for open nets for lads to knock it in. Like how when you get battered by someone on FIFA and you really hate them. I want to see sweaty goals all over the place. You know what I mean? I don't want to see beautiful goals. I want us to be horrible. And that means we win 1-0 or that means we win 7-0, whatever. But there needs to be a brutality and lethalness to how Liverpool approach this game.
Absolutely, and I go back to the Arsenal game for that. That was what happened in that Arsenal game. It was brutal. You looked at those Arsenal players walking off the pitch afterwards. They didn't know what had hit them. We won every battle. We won every second ball. There weren't even any second balls because we won the first balls. We dominated that midfield, which is exactly where this game will be won and lost. If we get the right personnel in midfield with the right mindset, attacking every single ball, we can't not win this game. We've got match winners all over that pitch, in midfield and up front. I don't see that there's any more motivation needed than that. This is a game that we can win, should win, and arguably will win.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to have a little chat about how Liverpool go about doing that in part 2. We're going to take a very short break. Let you know that Cop Chronicles, our wonderful new series, is streaming now. All episodes 1 to 6 are available. They've been coming out week by week for the last month and a half. Fantastic feedback on them so far. Have a little look at this. We'll show you in a second, but the trivia question to keep it either over between now and then. There are 4 Liverpool Champions League winners who've also played for Aston Villa. Name them.
Graham Souness is the best player I've ever played with in my life.
Scoring 2 goals in 2 European Cup finals to lift the trophy twice, it's a brilliant legacy, isn't it? Absolute genius, little scouser from the South End who went on to do magical things for us. Legend in all aspects of the game. When you're talking about someone like Steve Highway, that's the word.
He was a forerunner of the modern footballer, Kevin Keegan. I think he fit perfectly in the modern world.
I don't think there's ever been, and I don't think there ever will be, a bigger figure in Liverpool's history than Kenny Dalglish.
I'll tell you, we played some good stuff that day, we really did. But, a fantastic relief and, when the final whistle went.
I just did a little jump. Terrible celebration. One of the worst ever. Nobody's ever done it since, by the way. That's the jump.
They really are great shows, and you learn something watching them. I think that's the key for me. Is like these are players that I've grown up hearing stories about. I've watched each of those shows and learned something new.
Yeah, absolutely. Graham Souness is the most recent one to go out, and I think it's really fascinating to see the dichotomy between Graham Souness, considered the best midfielder. A lot of these Liverpool legends are saying Bruce Grobbelaar saying best player that he's ever played with. You know what I mean? And then Souness the manager, who I remember Souness the manager more than Souness the player, so I don't have as much warm feelings towards him, but this is the kind of show that bridges all those gaps. So yeah, check it out, all episodes right now, streaming on the redmentv.com. Right, the question before the break was, there are 4 Liverpool Champions League winners who've also played for Aston Villa. Can anyone name me one? Any ideas, Chris?
Milner's one, isn't he?
James Milner is one, correct.
Finnan?
No.
Traore?
No. Dad, any guesses?
No.
Is there a backup goalie?
No, I don't believe so. There is, let me just see. One of them's I tell a lie, there is a backup goalie. In fact, there's 2 backup goalies. two yeah. I got a bit lost on who the other one was. There's 2 goalies and 1 striker.
Is Kirkland one of them?
Kirkland is not one of them, but you're close.
Oh, gosh. Scott Carson.
Scott Carson is one.
Barros?
Milan Barros is the striker. And the other... actually, you know what? I tell a lie. I forgot to play wrong on that one. I think it might be someone else. Maybe it's today. This has been a disaster. Let's move on. European Cup finalists. Pepe Reina.
Pepe Reina, but he didn't win a championship.
Exactly. That's why it's been a disaster. We move on. Well done, anyone who got 4, you're brilliant. Well done, congratulations, because there wasn't, it was 3. Right, Sal. Chris Pajak. We've tried not to talk about them, and yet I've talked about them with every breath of this show so far. Does the Real Madrid result change our plan here?
I don't think so, because I think Klopp's looking at these as 4 games anyway. I think he's, I'm starting at Arsenal. Mm-hmm. I think the Arsenal one was the first of the rotations for Real Madrid, so you could get Gini back into the side, get some minutes for Firmino, give Jota some time off, and I think he'll be doing exactly the same. I think he'll be doing an Aston Villa side that he's already kind of gone in his head, that will probably be maybe the likes of a James Milner or a Bobby Firmino coming back in with a view to then changing it up slightly against Real Madrid the second time around. That's your block of 4 games for me.
I think psychologically, Dad, it's put a bit more focus on Villa. Now, the good thing is, because of the win last week and because of the Chelsea-West Brom result, it's meant that this game means a bit more. But I think the game plan was always what it was for the Premier League. We just needed to go game by game. Just keep trying to churn out wins or, churn out some sort of run of form. But I think for us as fans, the psychology of this is that we've gone in the space of a week from the Champions League feeling like our best way of getting back into the Champions League to now it actually looks like winning Premier League games might be the best way to do it. So yeah, from our perspective, there's been a mental shift.
Yeah, you've got to look at it as, say, like 10 games between now and the end of the season, and you've got to try and win all of them. And you don't throw everything out the window just because you lose a game of football. I think he's settled on the 2 centre-backs and decided to live with them. And try and get your best midfield on the pitch and your best forwards and hope that they're all good enough to win your games of football. And I don't see him changing that at all, for the rest of the season. The only proviso would be, does he change tactics in any way, shape or form, given how people know that the space behind our midfield is exploitable? Yeah. I really don't know.
It's a tough balancing act to find, isn't it, James? Because I think, again, it's a mad situation to be in, because I guess you've got to go strong. And Klopp referenced it. He said, he treats these with the same level, and I think we've seen that. And Chris is right. I don't think we actually have a best 11 at this point. I think there's probably like a best 13 or 14, because I think you could make the case for Curtis Jones being in midfield, you can make the case for Jota being in the front three, and you then, and that's maybe that's about it, to be honest. James Milner as well, again, maybe an argument for this one.
We're all right gaps in between games here if Klopp wanted to go settled side as well. I feel that's the case. Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday's not so bad in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and there is also the conceit as well. We said Real Madrid are gonna have to go strong this weekend, so there's something to which they're going to be hurting by the time they come to Anfield. So maybe there is something in that for us. But I don't know. The point is that we've got no choice but to go strong for this game, regardless of Real Madrid. It's just, what does that? I don't know what that looks like.
Sorry, go on. Yeah, go on, James. Sorry, mate.
No. I agree. I completely agree. I'd love to see Kurt Jones get some minutes. That'd be really, really exciting, because he must be chomping at the bit to get on the pitch, because he didn't really do a huge amount wrong, but to kind of not get dropped, but you know what I mean. He put in some excellent performances, looked really, really exciting, and I think if you have a midfield pairing of sort of Fabinho and Milner to protect and to sort of crowd out that midfield, you can afford to have someone like a Kurt Jones, or maybe even a Shaqiri coming on and a little bit more creativity going forward. And if you're dominating possession already, then Villa can't live with you. They're not leaking goals at the back, but they haven't put in a huge amount of clean sheets. So there is space there, and there is room for that attacking threat to come through.
I like Mane being rested for this one, to be honest with you. I think it's important that we get him off the field for a little bit and see if he can get his head straight and maybe come back in and do something. But yeah, I think that's important for me. I think, I'm looking at, obviously, the players the Klopp's got available. The back five ain't changing. The back five are not changing. Fabinho's going to stay where he is in that six. And so you've only got a few places and a few options. I actually like James's shout of Shaqiri there, to be honest with you. There's a player that could do with some minutes on the field in some way. I mean, he's trusted to come in last night, obviously against Real Madrid and stuff. So, yeah, it could be. But listen, here's the other thing. If Klopp knew last week's game against Arsenal was massively important and made two really surprising changes against Arsenal. And I know Arsenal and Aston Villa are about the same level at the moment this season, so he'll feel comfortable that he can make changes and still win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, he said himself after the match, he said, we can't be picky, we have to go for everything. So I don't think we're going to see a Fulham-style situation where it's like a match. I don't think we're going to see Nico Williams for this game. I've been saying it for weeks. At some point, we're going to see Kostas Tsimikas, I'm convinced. But for me, it's who needs
it's
the
when
rest.
The airport's open, mate, and he'll be getting on a plane and leaving fucking Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah, it's yeah, absolutely.
Because he's not had the rub of the green, has he?
Not had a sniff. But for me, it's who needs a rest, who desperately needs one. And Mane's on that list. Robertson's been on that list for ages. Now, we managed to get him off the pitch against Arsenal. That's how we gave him the rest. But it's a gamble when you do that, because, at the minute, James Milner probably deserves to come back into the side in some way, and it's whether we just get him back in by playing him left back, because look at the midfield. I agree, Curtis Jones needs to play. Curtis Jones deserves to come into this game. In hindsight, if you needed to give Thiago some time off, Curtis Jones probably should have played against Real Madrid in the week, because his form certainly...
What would be a big call would be playing Keita.
Yeah. I was gonna say this.
It's the kind of thing Klopp does. He's pulled him off, made him look a bit of a fool, and before half time, boost him by picking him and saying, go and show us what you can really do.
100%. I'm not sure. The problem is, of course, Klopp's made this problem for himself by the way that he treated Keita by subbing him off. Because the problem is the Curtis Jones and James Milner will be going, yeah, boss, we've been playing really well. There's a lad that you've just pulled off. Why am I not getting in this side? Where's my game coming from? I think you solve a little bit of that problem by just starting Milner at left back. So at least he's getting on the pitch, and you've got your vice captain in the team for a big game. Particularly on the back of a defeat, that's good to have someone like that on the field. But I agree. For me, I would. And this will be an unpopular choice, I'm certain of it, because of the reaction to Keita from it, and we were doing it ourselves on the final word. I think if you don't play Naby Keita, there's one. Klopp loves a redemption story. We saw this with Dejan Lovren. He's done this before. That's right.
Story.
He's got priors.
There's more books than the fucking Bible in that story, wasn't there?
Dejan, yeah, absolutely. So many clean slates.
Williams was one. He pulled him off at half time against Fulham, and then started him in the next game.
Yeah, so you're right. Naby Keita would be. I think if there's one surprise thing that he does, I don't think there's a chance that Naby Keita's playing against Real Madrid next week. Is what I'm saying.
What gives you that idea?
Well, yeah,
got eyes.
No, yeah, true. but this is the thing. I don't want to get lost in this. Somehow Naby Keita's not good at footy, because that's a fucking nonsense. He's really good at footy. But that was just a poor performance from him in a team full of incredibly poor performances. By the way, before we get lost again. But no, I wouldn't be shocked to see him come back in for this one. But it's then who's coming out. Is it just, do you keep Thiago off again?
Thiago's got to play against Madrid, hasn't he? I can't imagine us tackling Madrid again without him. So.
The plan clearly wasn't for him to play 45 minutes of football against Real Madrid, maybe 10 or 20. So do we need to then go again? Is that upset what we're trying to do a little bit? I really don't know on this one. I
wouldn't mind seeing a bit of Milner. I think there was a little bit of leadership lacking last night. I think and that's something that James Milner does not lack for his leadership. So I'd be more comfortable probably with Milner than anybody else going in.
Yeah.
I get the argument for playing Naby Keita. I do understand what you're saying, Paul. But absolutely, of course, it's a but. But if his confidence is shot, you pulled off before half time, and you start against Villa and you make a mistake, or you have another stinker. And Naby Keita, for all the good he is as a footballer, I can count on one hand the decent appearances and the times this season when I've gone, yes, Naby, that's the Naby Keita. So he's got that in his locker as well. And if he ends up having a stinker first half and you end up having to pull him off again, where does that leave you?
Yeah, no, true enough, but I don't think Jurgen Klopp thinks that way.
No, he does like it.
Because it works both ways, though, doesn't it? Because, if you don't play him, it's then another game week, and it's another week, and when he comes then...
If he doesn't play against Villa, he's not playing against Madrid. So, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. That's, it's a week before you've even seen him again. And when then? Because, again, we're not even talking about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's another one who's going to be going, hello, when am I getting my opportunity? So, yeah, I think it's that's what I mean about this, is the Klopp's made a bit of a rod for his back on the Keita stuff, because he's left with the situation of, do you throw him back? Can he trust him to go back in again? Because, there's a very real chance that Dean Smith wants to win a game of football and looks at Liverpool and go, we will just change our game for this game, because that's the most obvious path to success. And is Naby Keita therefore a problem for Liverpool? That's a big call to be made from the manager this weekend. Let's have a little look at what else is going on around the Premier League. Crystal Palace host Chelsea, 5:30 on Saturday, so just after our game. It would be really nice, Chris, to just be in a situation where we've got the 3 points and the pressure all goes over to Chelsea.
Absolutely, mate. And obviously Palace did us a little favour last weekend as well, didn't they? So, maybe I'm not counting on Hodgson doing us a favour 2 weekends on the bounce, but Chelsea right now, they've got to bounce back from that first big defeat under Tuchel now, and so that's a test in and of itself for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, not mentioned, but they'll be playing, obviously we're recording this Wednesday, they'll be playing tonight in the Champions League, of course, and then they've got to play a day less than we will have played in that game, but then going on to a game that's 2.5 hours later. So that might just, destabilise them a little bit. The two massive games in terms of our top four ambitions. West Ham host Leicester, Dad, and we'll know really. It depends.
What are you wanting in that, John?
That's the question.
A draw.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my thinking on it too. But I get it. That's the mentality, isn't it? Is that if you think we're just chasing fourth, then you want Leicester to win. But if you think we're chasing third and fourth, then both of those teams dropping points is absolutely ideal, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, if Leicester were to win, I wouldn't be upset about it at all. But both of them dropping points, that would be a nice encouragement. I think we want all the teams up there to lose points as often as possible between now and the end of the season. So, a draw or a Leicester win.
Yeah, and Tottenham hosting Man United, James. United probably just that little step beyond what we're looking at this season. I mean, particularly given that we can't, we've got no consistent form at all. But Spurs are another one. Spurs are very much like us at this point. They will have looked at that Chelsea result and gone, there's a big opportunity for us to kind of capitalise. They've had a little bit of a disappointment themselves. Obviously the Newcastle result was poor for them at the weekend. But it is Mourinho, just loves being Mourinho, particularly against clubs that have some sort of feelings towards him and antipathy towards him. He will see that as an opportunity to kind of you gain kudos as well as 3 points as well, which is the kind of thing that Mourinho loves.
Yeah, and he loves getting one over on previous clubs that he's managed. He loves all the drama. He loves the storytelling aspect of it, doesn't it? I tell you what, though, I've got one of my best mates is a Spurs fan, and you think we've had a miserable season? They've had a pretty crap time of it as well. They had such excitement and promise for this season. Gareth Bale coming back, and they were starting. Obviously Harry Kane's at absolute peak form and peak fitness, and Mourinho was saying all the right things pre-season, and they've just fallen off a cliff in terms of pushing for Champions League places, going far in the competition. And I mean, obviously, I think they play tonight as well. I think. Spurs?
They're out. They got knocked out horrendously from the Europa League.
Of course they did. So they've not got, they're all over the shop as well. It'll be 1-0 United. It'll be a Fernandes penalty. That'll be what
late Marcus Rashford deflected.
But here's the thing. I don't trust that Tottenham are in the battle for top four.
Okay.
So I'm all right with them beating Manchester United.
Oh wow.
Because I hate Manchester United.
Okay. Yeah, it's right. Well, I think my dad's point remains solid on all this. Right now, there's no guarantees that anyone's going to win 8 games back to back. So you want as many of the teams in a round to drop points. And let's be honest, at this point, I know there's very minimal difference between 0 points and 1 point from a thing, but you're taking potentially 2 points off 2 teams for a draw in these. So you're right. Let's live in hope that Man United somehow get dragged down into it, which they probably won't. But
if Leicester win and United lose, they're only a point ahead then, aren't they, Manchester United? And am I right in saying Son was back on the bench at the weekend? So he'll be that'll be a player that's been a big miss for them. So actually maybe I should start to think more of, with Son back, Tottenham might be able to do a little bit of something.
United are very, very good away, aren't they? So I would see them winning this, and I'd be quite happy with that.
United, I mean, we're just going to find out in the next week or two, really, where it sort of lies. There's talk Martial's out for the season. That one thing that's carried United through is just their depth of firepower. We saw Mason Greenwood actually step up, to help them out in that regard. But be interesting to see how they handle this now, because obviously there's nothing really. They're not playing for the title. The Europa League's going to be a big focus for them between now and the season, because that's a really realistic chance of silverware for Ole to cement his club legendary status. So yeah, will be good games, good interesting games. I like this. But again, it speaks to the importance of Villa. there's at least a couple of teams who we want to lose points are definitely losing points this weekend, and that adds to how vital it is that we don't take our eyes off this really. And again, Madrid can't be too much of a focus. I think the good thing is the lads that we're looking to rest for Madrid potentially are probably going to come on in this game anyway. So Mane's not going to get 90 minutes off. You're gonna bring him on with half an hour to go 20 minutes just to make sure that he's in a little bit of rhythm for the week. So even if we rotate, we're not going to be putting a team that's miles away from what we start in the midweek anyway. So yeah, I hope they do. I really do. We're back to a world where every Premier League game is it's like win or it's potentially catastrophic, but it's another chance to take a massive step forward. And you've got to not get distracted by Real Madrid. Hopefully, in an ideal world, 2 back-to-back 2-0 wins in the space of the next
that would be nice.
7.5 days would see us pretty keenly positioned. Right, let's have some score predictions. Liverpool Villa, Chris Pajak.
3-1 to Liverpool.
Okay, Dad.
3-0.
Ooh, James Sutton.
2-0.
I'm going to go with a 1-0 to Liverpool, yeah. I think we'll be better than them.
First half goal, second half goal?
It'll be a second half goal.
Yeah.
We'll score first half goal.
I just don't win at Anfield though, Paul.
No, exactly. Yeah. But that mission number 1, and again, I would love a bit of nice, tasty revenge, then we can so we can have conversations about goal difference for a change. Remember them? Remember when goal difference was important? But it
might be in our battle for fucking 6th with Tottenham. We're level on goal difference with them at the moment.
Absolutely. But you've got to win a game of football at Anfield. These two games coming up. If you can't learn how to win at Anfield, then we're not going to finish in the top 4 and we're going to get knocked out of the quarter. You take it easy, boys. You just have a little... You're nearly there.
Your dad yawned and I caught it.
Fucking hell. Nearly there. Go back to bed in a minute.
Very powerful.
Retiring an actor. Fucking hell. This is just against your lifestyle, being up and active at midday on a Wednesday.
Do you know how much work I've got on this week?
Go on.
Fuck all. I'm not shooting a single scene this week.
Yeah. And
nice.
You couldn't even give us 15 minutes of full focus. Pathetic. Right. Yeah, get us your...
You still get paid, you get paid weekly?
A bit. Yeah.
Paid by the screen, paid by the minute of screen time.
Yeah.
Great. Sounds. What did they do? What would they do if you yawned in the middle of a big dramatic scene?
What do they do when you yawn in the middle of a dramatic scene, James?
I'm very good at the old kind of into the shoulder.
Not from what I can tell, James. not based on the evidence presented before me today. Right, okay. Let us know your score predictions in the comments underneath the video. Thank you so much for joining us for this one. The starting 11 prediction will be out if you want to check that out and see what Chris Pajak thinks the Reds are going to do for this game. Will he go with Naby or not? I suspect not, but we'll see. I've just thrown a little psychological gauntlet down for him there. Let's see how he deals with that.
I will not be swayed by that. Paul is not making my side.
The Hold the L show over on the Super 6 channel. Go over there, drop a like on it, leave a comment, back me up on the Mo Salah shout, and make sure you vote for Flav or Nini to hold the L this week. That'd be great. And of course, do check out the Cop Chronicles streaming right now, episodes 1 to 6 on the redmentv.com. We also got a fantastic competition to win a Liverpool pin badges set. If you join at Club Legend over on there, some details will follow in a moment. But yes, thank you so much. Have a wonderful week, and we'll be back for the watch along on Saturday at just before 3 o'clock. See you there. Hey everyone, what's happening? We've got an amazing competition for you guys right now. You can be in with the chance of winning this exclusive Liverpool pin badge set. All you've got to do is go over and sign up or upgrade your subscription to Club Legend over on the redmentv.com, which is our Liverpool streaming service platform. Not only that, will you also get access to an incredible suite of Liverpool content, post-match stuff, news, subscription shows of us based in the studio, but not just that as well documentaries, series, features, and interviews with Liverpool legends, past and present. It's basically like Netflix for Liverpool fans. And if you sign up a Club Legend, you get a bunch of perks as well: free merchandise, discounts on a whole host of things, and yes, you're entered into monthly prize draws. And this month, that is that incredible pin badge set. So go over to the redmentv.com right now, sign up, and get involved.